Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Monday. If it's your first time joining us, feel free to write in the comments or direct message me where you're coming from if you have any questions. Also, if you have a topic you'd like to hear covered, you can either DM me or write it in comments. And even if you're watching a recording, we will see that and get it back to you. And if you are not familiar, if you type mindful in comments or direct message me, mindful, you'll get a link that you can follow to get a free recording. And that will also put you on the list to get our weekly Mindful Monday cheat sheet, which is simply a kind of a PDF, looks like this, of whatever we cover today. You would get it next Sunday at 6:45 p.m. All right. So today we're here to talk about self-hypnosis for healing, self-healing that is. So the first thing I want to say here is this is not meant to replace seeing a medical professional, not meant to you don't come to see your hypnotherapist before you go to the doctor if you're not feeling well kind of thing. But after you seek medical attention, it can be used to kind of help you heal and possibly at an accelerated rate is what I found too. So what happens is when we're not feeling well, we naturally move into kind of the fight or flight. You know, our sympathetic nervous system activates, and it's meant to alert us to take care of ourselves so that we do survive. So unfortunately, what happens is we also have this negativity bias that's going to keep having us check on it. We often will be like, okay, am I still in pain? Am I still in pain? Do I still have this fever? Am I still nauseous? So we're kind of going back and checking. And, you know, that's just part of our nature, unconsciously or subconsciously, if you will. And whatever we ask our subconscious mind to find, it generally does. So if you keep going through that process, and it's normal, folks. So, I mean, you know, sometimes when I'm not feeling well, if I have a migraine or something, I like catch myself in my own mind thinking or saying like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna die. And that's the time when I have to change things. So I start using some self-hypnosis on myself then. So there was a Mindful Monday, I think it was about 7 months ago. It was self-hypnosis for hypnosis for discomfort. And so that we talked about a lot of techniques for using hypnosis or self-hypnosis when it comes to pain. We also did the control room of the mind hypnotic meditation. So that can be useful for illness as well, but we're not going to repeat that one. So I just wanted to put that out there if anybody did want to review. So I myself have used self-hypnosis for healing many times. The one that stands out the most though is in June of 2020, I actually had a total hip replacement. And I think it was the day after that I didn't know about it, but I was exposed to someone, a friend who had COVID. And a couple of days later, I came down with COVID. And so this is June of 2020. I had used the hypnosis actually during my hip replacement surgery, was doing fantastic. And then came down with COVID, so I wasn't able to go to physical therapy, I wasn't able to go to doctors, and this is the height of the first COVID wave too, when people really didn't know. There were no vaccines, there wasn't a lot of information, things were pretty scary back then. And so even my doctor kind of had me in a little bit of a panic after one talk, and she did her best, but she wasn't very helpful about this issue anyway. So I decided this was all a bad trance, you know, and so I started going to sleep every night and imagining my white blood cells as little Pac-Mans eating up all of my COVID ghost cells. And so that was the beginning. And I noticed that was much better than saying, oh my God, I hope I don't die, or oh my goodness, am I breathing, kind of thing. And so then I also noticed, so I think most of you know that I use essential oils with my NLP anchors to kind of calm and ground. So when my doctor panicked me, I reached for my lavender, and I couldn't smell or taste. And that actually, after about 2 or 3 weeks of that, and everybody's saying we don't know if you'll ever smell or taste again, I kind of got over that. So I started doing some research, and I was using my essential oils to do scent training, and I developed the neural pathways back again to rewire my brain to be able to smell and taste. And so then I also had this kind of long haul fatigue with the COVID. So I worked with a friend and colleague, Karen Hand, via Zoom with some hypnotic techniques to kind of build up my energy and stamina again, and some brain fog, all that kind of stuff. So we actually developed a program. We called it the Help Out Protocol and the Pandemic Problem Solving Protocol. And we went on for the next 2 years, and we internationally presented this at conferences. So this stuff really does work. And you don't have to be a hypnotherapist to utilize self-hypnosis. you can kind of create little stories, reframe your thoughts, change them like I did with the COVID Pac-Mans, or you can use metaphoric shifts. We've talked about that in other Mindful Mondays. Water is a wonderful healing modality in a lot of the trances. There's trances written about IBS, and they'll have you, relax, of course, first, and then visualize going to a beautiful stream, a spring, nice, clean, and kind of washing your intestines out in these healing waters. So there's all kinds of things, and you can make up your own too. Let's see. So today I thought we would I just wanted to kind of talk about that and share my experience, because there's so many different ways. But I thought we would kind of, if you're, of course, driving or doing anything that requires your conscious attention, please come back to this later and listen to it. This is going to be just a brief little kind of healing hypnotic meditation. It's a trance written by Paul Durbin. So of course you can change the wording around and make it for a physical ailment, but because I wouldn't have any way of doing whatever everybody that is watching this is experiencing, it's going to be very general and more, we'll talk more about the emotions in it, but you could change the wording to any kind of physical thing if that makes sense to you. So if you are free and not driving a car and able to kind of close your eyes and relax, I'll invite you to just take a nice deep breath in, exhale, and let your eyes close down, settling in. I'd like for you now to imagine that you're taking a walk in the woods. You're walking along this beautiful path in the woods. And as you walk, you might be experiencing a number of things. And possibly you're aware of some tall pine trees, some large, some small. You might find that it's a warm but comfortable summer type of day out there. You might even feel a comfortable breeze gently cooling your face and your arms. Maybe you even hear the rustling of leaves or the crunch of some twigs beneath your feet. Now as you look up through the leaves and the trees, you see this sunlight just sparkling in time with the breeze. And as you continue along, you come to an open area with a small pond. And at one end of the pond, there's this beautiful waterfall. And at the other end, there's a stream which runs as far as your eyes can see. And so you look up and see a beautiful blue sky with a few of those white, fluffy clouds just lazily drifting by, the type, and shape changers. And so you take a seat by the pond and enjoy the sounds of the water. Maybe you hear birds singing or frogs croaking, the sound of the waterfall. Now as you sit there, you sense that there is something special about this waterfall, and it seems to be inviting you to come over to it, and indeed, you do. And you reach out and you touch the water, and the temperature is just right. So you walk under those waterfalls, and you feel its cleansing flow. And you realize that it's not only cleansing your body, but it's also cleansing you. And you feel any anger, any bitterness, any feelings of rejection or grief or guilt. All of those negative emotions are just being cleansed right out of your system. And you look down towards your feet and you notice that the water coming off your body is a murky brown, and it's flowing across the pond and down the stream to the other end. The more negativity that you release, the murkier the water appears to be. And as you feel these negative emotions being cleansed from your system, the water around your feet begins to clear. But you can see the murky, brown water flowing further and further down the stream, farther and farther away. Now as the murky water flows down the stream, farther and farther away, you are feeling more and more comfortable, more at peace with yourself. Your feelings of calmness increase. You feel more at ease. It gives you a strange feeling of relaxation. You're feeling yourself being cleansed of all those negative emotions and feelings, any anger, bitterness, rejection, grief, guilt. They're all just being cleansed right out of your system. As they are, notice the feeling of comfort and peace increases as the murky water flows down the stream farther and farther, farther away. As that murky brown plots farther and farther, you feel your problems just dissolving. You feel a sense of release and relief. You're getting rid of those old problems. And the murky brown is flowing farther and farther away. And so far now that it's beyond your eyesight, and you can breathe deeper. And exhale slowly a few times and really enjoy the freedom, the relief, the powerfulness of being free of those old problems. The relief, the calmness, the peacefulness are flowing through you from your head all the way down to your toes, replacing any of those old negatives. These feelings of comfort and serenity and well-being remain with you, even after you slowly begin now to come out of this relaxed state. And so, just coming back, taking a nice big breath, opening your eyes. And thank you for joining us for Mindful Monday. Make it a great one.